So it's Wednesday morning on a beautiful Sydney day, and it's 3 days before Pesach. This Friday night, we are all going to sit down to the Seder. And for many people now, it's a bit chaotic and a bit hectic and kind of wonder, are we going to get there? Don't worry, we're all going to get to the Seder and sit down all together at the same time. But I was looking at the Haggadah just to learn a little bit before Pesach to give the Seder some meaning and depth. And I noticed a seeming inconsistency in some of the paragraphs of the Seder. On the one hand, the Haggadah tells us very emphatically that the Seder has to be real, and therefore it's got to be experiential, and therefore the Seder says that when we tell the story of the Exodus from Egypt, it must be when there's matzah and maror on the table. In other words, it can't just be a story we tell, it's got to be something we experience with all the environment, with all the things that are there, with the wine and the matzah and the maror and so on. And yet, the very same Haggadah tells us, in a paragraph by Rabbi Lazar ben Azariah, that it is important to mention and to remember the Exodus from Egypt every single day of the year, not only in the morning, but at night as well. So, what is it? Do we need the matzah and maror? Do we need the Seder items, or don't we need? And I want to share with you an insight that it's not a contradiction at all. But in fact, experiencing the Seder is a model, it's a formula. And in fact, we are supposed to have a Seder every single day of the year. The Seder on Pesach night is the physical context, the physical formula. But the spiritual items of the Seder are there every single day. In fact, every single day of the year, we're supposed to relive Exodus. We're supposed to experience Exodus. We're supposed to actually feel the inner freedom and growth that is symbolized and experienced on Seder night. So let me give you a few examples. Every single day, we're supposed to have the Mannish Tana. What does that mean? Every single day, we're supposed to grow. Growth comes from asking questions. Just like on Seder night, we have to tell the story in response to a question. We should be asking questions every day, because questions is a sign and an acknowledgement that we don't know it all. Questions is the foundation of growth. Every single day, we need to have the four sons, the Arba Banim, the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one who doesn't even know how to ask questions. Why? Because growth, spiritual growth, inner growth, which is really what our personal Exodus from Egypt is all about, cannot be something we do alone. It's got to be something that we support others as well. We have to support the growth of others and inspire others to grow, and they should inspire us. But when we inspire others to grow, we can't be exclusive. We've got to include everyone. We've got to be diverse. We've got to believe in every single person that they have the ability, the soul within them to spark and to grow. Whether right now they're wise, or perhaps they're even wicked, or perhaps they're just simple or don't know anything, they're totally ignorant. Every person has the ability to grow. We need to inspire and include every single person. And then yes, every single day of the year we have matzah and maror. In fact, we also remember the Paschal Lamb. Now don't worry, we don't have to eat matzah every day of the year. I know some of you don't like it. But we have the spiritual matzah every day. Because in the Haggadah there's a paragraph where Rabbi Gamliel tells us that in order to fulfill our obligation, we need to explain three things. Pesach, the Paschal Lamb that was brought in temple times. Matzah, we have to have matzah on the table and eat it. And maror, the bitter herbs. What is the significance of this? It's actually a formula. It's a formula that we do every single day. Pesach, the Paschal Lamb, the word Pesach means to jump, to leap, like God leaped over and jumped over our houses. Growth must include Pesach. Growth means that we have to be ready sometimes for a paradigm shift. We have to be ready to take a leap into something new. We have to be ready to take on a new mitzvah, to mend a broken relationship, to do something hard, to have a difficult conversation, to engage in a spiritual experience which we're uncomfortable doing. We have to be ready to take a risk and to take a jump, to take a leap. How do we do that? Matzah. Every day we have matzah. Matzah is a symbol of humility. The one thing that stands in the way of growth is ego, like chametz that rises. Matzah is a symbol, it doesn't rise. Matzah is a symbol of humility. When we humble and we're ready to attach to things that are higher than us, when we're ready to go beyond ourselves, we're able to grow. Thirdly, we have maror every day. Maror simply is there to remember the bitter times, but it's not just that. Maror is the taste of bitterness. There's a positive maror. Positive maror is effort, the ability to put in the effort, hard work, growth needs three things. Personal exodus needs three things: taking a leap, humility, and the willingness to put in the work and to put in the effort. And you know, every single day we have cups of wine. And we just share this insight with you. On the Seder night, when we fill the cup of wine, we have 4 cups. The Jewish law tells us that there's a minimum size of a cup, but whatever the size is, it needs to be full. And in fact, some people just make sure it spills over a little bit. We all have our own cup of wine. We all have our own cup, which means we're all in a different stage of journey. There's a minimum foundational requirement, but we're all at different parts of the journey of growth. Whatever part of the journey of growth we are, we just have to make it full and spill over a little bit. We have to take one step. My one step and someone else's one step are different. So yes, every day we have cups of wine. Wine is a symbol of joy. Wine is a symbol of confidence. Wine is a message to us that we can confidently and happily grow just by taking one more step to fill our cup, just one more little bit. Those are just some examples. There are many more, but those are just some examples of the Seder that we have every single day of the year. So yes, on Pesach night we highlight it. On Pesach night we experience it with all the physical items to send us that message and create that formula. But let's remember, as we sit down to the Seder, we try to experience and tap into the energy of personal growth, spiritual growth, personal exodus. Let us make sure one thing, that the Seder will not end this Friday night or the next night. The Seder will continue with the wine, with the spiritual Pesach matzah and maror, with asking questions, with including everyone else every single day of the year. Let me wish everyone, you and your families, Chag HaPesach Kasher V'Sameach. May this Pesach be a happy one. May this Pesach be a time for us and for the whole of Am Yisrael where we actually are able to experience true growth. Let it be a meaningful and a deep Pesach, and one where we do take the next step in our spiritual journey, and hopefully God will accept and listen and enjoy and have pleasure and nachas from our Seder and bring the ultimate exodus, the redemption of Mashiach Tzidkenu with the Bet HaMikdash speedily in our days. Chag Sameach.